And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. So, no doubt everyone is seeing the controversy going on with Anthony Edwards and some comments he made. And I must say that these comments have made me look not only at Anthony Edwards in a different light, but it's also made me look at the potential of Anthony Edwards, the potential for his growth as a basketball player. It's made me look at that in a different light as well. So let's go ahead and get right into this article from Sports Illustrated, and then I'll give my thoughts and say why I think his potential is not going to be as high as I once thought it was. It says, it's been a tremendous 12 months for Anthony Edwards. He grew from a budding star to a full-blown superstar as he led the Minnesota Timberwolves to their deepest playoff run in decades. He captured the attention of the NBA with ludicrous dunks and even more ludicrous sound bites. Then Edwards was off to Paris, where he played a pivotal role in helping Team USA secure another gold medal while playing alongside three of the best basketball players in history. In simpler terms, Edwards has been smack in the middle of the spotlight for quite a while. And even now, with 2 months off before the 2024-25 NBA season, the Wolves star doesn't seem eager to give it up anytime soon. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal released on Tuesday, Edwards was asked how his generation of basketball players compared to the ones that came before, a regular talking point in NBA discourse. Edwards answered by boldly calling out those prior generations for lacking skill, other than Hall of Fame guard Michael Jordan. I didn't watch it back in the day, so I can't speak on it, Edwards said. They say it was tougher back then than it is now, but I don't think anybody had skill back then. Michael Jordan was the only one that really had skill. You know what I mean? So that's why when they saw Kobe Bryant, they were like, oh my God. But now everybody has skill. Regardless of how you may feel about Edwards' opinion, it's objectively funny to preface with, I can't speak on it, before going on to speak on it quite strongly at that. Nobody has ever accused the 23-year-old of lacking for confidence, though. So yeah, let's get to what I started off the video with by saying that these comments have changed my mind about the potential of Anthony Edwards. They have changed my mind about what I thought his ceiling may be. And you may ask, why is that? Why has it changed my mind? Well, because to me, it says a lot about a person who doesn't know the history of the career that they're in. It says a lot. But more importantly, to me, if you just go throughout time and history, and this goes beyond basketball. You can talk about music, you can talk about art, you can talk about acting, you can talk about computer programming, whatever career field that you're in. The people who really, truly do great things and reach the top of the top of the top, those people know the history of the field that they're in. Those people know the history of the field that they're in, and this is very important because, like the saying goes, if you don't know where you came from, how are you going to know where you're going? If you're a basketball player and you haven't taken the time to go back and study the players of the past, then how do you know what the moves that you're doing now, how do you know what they're based off of? And to me, it speaks a lot to this generation. You know, Anthony Edwards, he's just part of this generation that, again, lacking the fundamentals of the game. We know that by the 7-step move he did in Paris. No footwork, but they called it great footwork. But yeah, if you haven't gone back and studied Pete Maravich, Pete Maravich and Jerry West and Bob Cousy and Russell and Moses Malone and Dr. J and Larry Bird and Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson. If you haven't gone back and studied those players, then to me, your game shows it. And to me, Anthony Edwards' game shows it. So, this past basketball season, Anthony Edwards got a lot of spotlight. And he got a lot of spotlight not only for leading the Timberwolves to such a deep playoff run, but he also got a lot of spotlight because he made some comments in the media where he was taking accountability for the failures of the Timberwolves. And I thought that was great. I was one of them. I was one of them who, when I saw that, I thought to myself, man, this guy, he might really be something. Like he's taking accountability. This is a good thing. But I must say, since then, I've just noticed his game is severely inconsistent. His game is severely inconsistent. And so, based on the fact that he would make a statement like that about the past, to me, that shows a lack of willingness to go above and beyond to really get knowledge about the game that you're playing. Again, it's about more than the moves. And like I said, we could talk about, first of all, Michael Jordan. Again, we've said this many times. Michael Jordan always gave credit to the players of the past. Matter of fact, out of respect for the players of the past, we all know how Michael Jordan continuously answered questions about the GOAT conversation. He always said, I could never say I'm better than those guys when I never got to play them. Not only did he say that, but he said it would be disrespectful for me to say that when I've never got to compete against them. Kobe Bryant. It's some fanboys who get on my channel who are like to trash Kobe every chance they get. But Kobe Bryant knew the history of the game. He studied the history of the game. Kobe Bryant reached out to players. Not only did he know the history of the game, but Kobe reached out to the players who were elders to him, who were still playing. Obviously, Michael Jordan, but even we know he reached out to Scottie Pippen, got tips from Gary Payton. Kobe understood that, hey, the players of the past have valuable information to give you. Again, I've brought up boxing again. When we talk about Mike Tyson, if you've watched enough Mike Tyson interviews, if you're a fan of Mike Tyson, you know that Mike Tyson is pretty much a history book on the game of boxing, on the sport of boxing. He's a history book. And like I said, this goes for anything. In music, the people who have reached the top of the top of the top, Prince, Michael Jackson, like those guys know the history of music. They know the history of the genre that they're in. Like Prince knew about James Brown and all of the, entertainers who came before him. This is a crucial thing for whatever it is you're trying to do. And so, so it's like you're trying to say that Michael Jordan was the only person that had skills from back in the day. Well, there is nobody in the current NBA who passes like Magic Johnson. Nobody. Name one player since Magic Johnson who passes like Magic Johnson, whose passes are amazing as Magic Johnson. Now, I'm not saying we haven't seen some great passers along the way, but I'm saying who's on the level of a Magic Johnson. No, we haven't seen that, and I'm not sure we're gonna see that. And again, Magic Johnson, to me, he was the only player who actually dominated with his passing. I mean, if you think about that, that is incredible. But he was able to actually control the game with his passing, unlike the false king, whose passing is overrated. And let me go and say this. Again, whenever they go and talk about this more skill thing, these skills, it's normally equated to dribbling and shooting and maybe jumping. Maybe the average player has more ups than the average player back then. But these are really the three things that they focus on. But again, we're not talking about defense. And when we're talking about defense, I would say guys like Joe Dumars, John Starks, Gary Payton, players like that would give a lot of these players a very tough day at the office. Players like that would give a lot of these players a tough day at the office because, again, somehow whenever they're talking about this whole skill thing, they never ever talk about defense. Like, it's all offensive related and it's all very specific, again, to three-point shooting, to dribbling, and to maybe jumping. But, here's something for you fanboys out there who probably, I'm sure, are not only fanboys of LeBron James, but just fanboys of the modern NBA and, think that the modern NBA is the biggest, best thing ever. All-time assist leaders. All-time assist leaders. John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, Michael Jordan, Gary Payton, Maurice Cheeks, Scottie Pippen, LeBron James, Julius Erving, Clyde Drexler. That's the top 10 all-time assist leader. Now, if you notice, most of those players are from previous generations. John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Michael Jordan, Gary Payton, Maurice Cheeks, Scottie Pippen, Julius Erving, and Clyde Drexler. Where's all these more skilled modern players at? Where's all the more skilled modern players who are so much more skilled because they can shoot threes? Let's look at something else. Here, this is a good one for you fanboys. Let's look at total points. Top 10 in total points. Of course, we know the Deer stuck around and stat padded his way to the top. But then you got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Karl Malone, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Dirk Nowitzki, Wilt Chamberlain, Julius Erving, Moses Malone, Kevin Durant. Again, top 10. And let's keep this in mind too, fanboys, that players back then, their careers were shorter on average. They didn't have as much time in the league because they didn't have modern medicine and load management and those kind of things. So let's keep that in mind. So the top 10 of all-time leading scorers are still mostly players of past generations. Again, mind you, who are normally playing shorter seasons because the game was more physical. You didn't have as long a career as you could have back then. So where are all these more skilled players? Besides the Deer, who's in his 21st year of stealing money from the NBA. Let's check out one more. Blocks. We definitely not gonna see a lot of modern players in this. Hakeem Olajuwon, Dikembe Mutombo, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Artis Gilmore, Mark Eaton, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Shaquille O'Neal, and Tree Rollins. Where are the modern players who are playing such great defense that they're breaking records? We can even go further. 11, Robert Parrish. 12, Alonzo Mourning. 13, Marcus Camby. Caldwell Jones, Dwight Howard, Ben Wallace, Sean Bradley, Manute Bol. Where are all the modern players that are so skilled? Oh, you want to find the modern players? Here we go, people. Here where you find your modern players. 3-point field goals. Stephen Curry, got Ray Allen, James Harden, Damian Lillard, Reggie Miller's in there, Klay Thompson, Kyle Korver, LeBron James, Vince Carter's in there. I didn't expect to see Vince. Oh, and look at number 10, the person who cooked your king and took his 2011 championship away, Jason Terry. Again, this is where you find your modern players in three-pointers. Unfortunately, there's no stat for dribbling, so I guess we're at a loss there. But yeah, I mean, you guys get my point. Whenever they talk about more skill, it's this very specific thing. It's always ignoring defense. It's always ignoring that the game is easier. It's not considering the fact that certain skills from the game have just vanished, like a post game. There's no post game anymore. Again, the game is all the same. So we gonna hold up here. But yeah, to me, this comment from Anthony Edwards, like I said, based on this comment, by him being so ignorant about the past, to me that leads me to believe that his ceiling is not going to be that high in the NBA. Because like I said, to me, people who do extraordinary things, and again, this is in any field. This is not just related to basketball. Again, I do this channel for the younger generation so that you guys can understand that number one is more to life than money, and number two, if you want to be great at something, it has to be about the passion and your love for that thing, and your love for that thing will actually drive you to want to know the history of that thing. You'll want to know the past generations, and you won't be taking shots at the past generations. You will protect the past generations. You will pay respect to the past generations. Like, this is just facts. And last thing I'm gonna say this, again, I was trying to give Anthony Edwards the benefit of the doubt because I myself fell victim to the frenzy that was created during the playoffs. And, like I said, I got hyped for a minute and thought, okay, this guy may become something. However, normally, what's the saying? When people show you who they are the first time, believe them. And this is something that should have told us all who Anthony Edwards is. It was when the worst All-Star game in the history of the NBA took place, where the score was like 200. They scored like 200 points apiece. I think the total score was more than 400. And they asked Anthony Edwards about this, and Anthony Edwards says the All-Star game is considered a break and is not viewed as competitive. He said, for me, it's an all-star game, so I don't think I will ever look at it as being super competitive. It's always fun. I don't know what they can do to make it more competitive. It's always fun, but I don't know what they can do to make it more competitive. It's a break. I don't think nobody wants to come here and compete. And to that, Anthony Edwards, I say this. To me, in that statement, what you are showing is that you are not a real alpha, and you are not a real leader. And what I mean by that is you're kind of referencing, I don't think anybody else wants to come here and compete. But what about you, Anthony Edwards? What about you setting the tone? What about you being the one to say, hey, I don't care what everybody else does. I'm coming out here to win because I'm trying to win all the time. And again, I'm going to end it with this one last story about Michael Jordan. And again, I can't recall quite the details of this story, but it was like, it wasn't an NBA All-Star game. It was something similar to, maybe a celebrity game or something. But anyway, they're kind of taking it easy. And the story is, like, they get to the fourth quarter, a few minutes in the fourth quarter goes by, and, everybody's been playing and having fun, and Michael Jordan goes off and was like, okay, guys, so are we going to win this thing or not? And so even with something like as insignificant as that, like I said, I think it was a celebrity game or something like that. At the end of the day, Michael Jordan was always concerned about winning. Like at the end of the day, yeah, okay, it's all fun and games, but are we gonna win this thing or not? This is Michael Jordan. And so yeah, Anthony Edwards, you gotta decide, are you that person or not, or are you just falling in line with the rest of the league? But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about these ridiculous, ignorant comments made by Anthony Edwards? What do you think about Anthony Edwards and his potential as far as his ceiling in basketball? How good do you think this guy will actually get? Because like I said, to me, just based off these comments, I don't think he's going to get much better. I'm not saying he's not going to get better at all, but I don't think he's going to get a whole lot better than what we see from him now. But anyway, let me know. I hope he proves me wrong. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.